What's going on, everybody? RJ Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com. Hope all is well wherever you are. Hope you're happy, safe, healthy, and that you are thriving on this Victory Polo Monday. That's right. Today is Monday, October the 7th, 2024, and it is indeed a Victory Polo Monday. The Dallas Cowboys, of course, defeating the Pittsburgh Steelers, their 18th win against the Steelers all time in franchise history on Sunday Night Football / Monday Morning Football. I trust that, like me, you are very tired. I have had a lot of caffeine. I've had a lot of sugary treats. I've had a lot to keep my body moving really ever since, I would say, halftime of the game on Sunday night. But the Cowboys won. And look, these are the kinds of things that make football season so magical and so wonderful and so amazing as we remember these moments, right? There will be a time in the future where we think back and we say, man, remember how crazy that delay was, that 90-minute delay? And Celine Dion had the intro video, which was awesome, by the way. That was so cool. And I say this all the time. I love my job and I'm so grateful for it. And I'm so grateful for all of you who helped me have this job. And if I were to go back in time and talk to the version of myself in high school who just loved this team and obsessed about this team and wanted so badly to kind of just, talk about this team all the time, if I could say someday you're going to have all these friends on the internet that will love the team and want to talk about it with you, I think that dude would have really appreciated that. So I really appreciate you. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing right here to the Blog of the Boys YouTube channel. We are on our way to 30,000 subscribers. The goal is to get there before the season ends. So hopefully the Dallas Cowboys give us enough time for that to be the case. If you like what I do, you can follow me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Threads at RJ Ochoa. I've been doing a lot of threading. I've been working with the people at Threads, and I can promise you, if you are not on there, there are some very, very, very cool things coming to the world of Threads relative to the NFL. So make sure you're over there. You can follow me there. I'm on TikTok as well, rj.ochoa. rj.ochoa at sbnation.com is how you can email me if that is more your speed. All right, so we are here the day after the Cowboys won on Victory Polo Monday. By now, you know the drill. It is day after thoughts. And this has been a very, very kind of blended together day after thoughts because I didn't sleep much. I'm sure you didn't sleep much. I don't know what time the game ended for you. I don't know what coast you're on. Hopefully Central Time Zone. It's the best time zone. Miss me with all this other stuff. But the whole purpose here, if this is your first one of these exercises to kind of parachute in on this season, is to take some time, take a day or a night to sleep on it and see if we feel the same, see if we're still as angry or still as happy about certain things relative to the Cowboys and kind of compartmentalize them together as one overall fan community. That's what we do at Blog on the Boys. So that's what we're going to do here. I have 3 day after thoughts. I do write about this as well. You can read the article at blogontheboys.com. I also do a fancy social post. At least it's fancy for my skills over on my Instagram and TikTok pages. All right. So number 1, day after thought for me relative to the Cowboys 20-17 win over the Baltimore Ravens. These are difference-making wins. You look at the win probability here, and I'm about to zoom in, excuse me. Look at this. This peak right here for the Cowboys, or for the Steelers, I should say, was the Dak Prescott incompletion on 3rd and 4. At this moment in time, let me zoom out a little bit here. I've gone too far. At this moment in time, the Steelers held an 87. Now I've moved my mouse. Held an 87% win probability. This was late in the game. This was the 4th quarter, as you can tell. I mean, I want you to think about this here. This was an incompletion, all right? And Dak Prescott had to figure things out. The Cowboys had to figure things out. The Steelers had an 87% win probability. The Cowboys won this game. These are difference-making wins. The reality of life in the NFL, and I know that we say this every year, and I know it gets annoying, but you're not going to win every single game. That's one level of truth, but there are 2 other levels of truth to what I'm just now designing to be a triangle of truth. All right, number 1 is you're not going to win every game. Number 2, all right, so we're going to kind of follow the triangle here. Number 2, you're going to lose a couple of games that you're not supposed to, right? We can certainly name games like that. You're going to lose some games that you're not supposed to, but for balance to be fully, totally, and completely achieved, for the triangle to make sense, you have to win some games that you're not supposed to. You have to steal some. You have to take them away. You have to have a 13% chance of victory near the very end of this football game and find a way, find a will, all those football cliches, scratch and claw with our finger inches. You have to find a way to do that. And the Dallas Cowboys did on Sunday night. And because of that, they're 3-2. Because of that, they have a winning streak going for the first time this season. Because of that, they are undefeated on the road. The last time the Cowboys were undefeated through the first 3 games of this season on the road, and that's a complicated way to say that, I'll say it again. the Cowboys, let me put it this way. The Cowboys have played 3 games on the road so far to begin the season, right? They have won all 3 of them. The last time in which the Cowboys won their first 3 road games of the season was 2016. The Cowboys have won their first 3 road games in a season, any season, obviously, in franchise history, a total now of 15 times. Each and every single time before, all 14 instances before this one in which the Cowboys won their first 3 road games, they made the playoffs. You have to find a way to steal these games in general, more specifically, the playoff games. Look, I don't like giving props to the Eagles. I don't think any of us do. And I recognize that using last year's Philadelphia team is a weird kind of case study, given that they're still kind of experiencing the fallout from all of that. But that being said, what was so annoying about the Eagles last year was how they kept finding ways to win, right? We all felt like the Jesse moment in Breaking Bad, talking about Walter saying, you can't keep getting away with this. We kept feeling like they couldn't keep getting away with it. They kept finding a way, the Eagles. And I maintain that is an elite quality of that organization that I don't like very much, but I mean, game respects game type of thing. And this was that. This was finding a way to win. This was stealing a win. This is the difference, right? This is the difference between being 10-7 or 11-6 or 12-5 or 9-8. You have to stack these together. You have to snatch some from the jaws of defeat. And I do think that the Dallas Cowboys did this on Sunday night. They put themselves in the jaws, to be very clear. Dak Prescott did by way of his 3 turnovers, which, by the way, the Cowboys have only won a game in which they had 3 turnovers or more in the Mike McCarthy era 4 times. I mean, this is hard to do. They messed up bad. There's no doubt about that. I'm not here defending what the Cowboys did, but that all these bad things happened, that they had 3 turnovers, that they had all the injuries going on, that they didn't even have a touchdown through the first 3 quarters of the game, that all of these things happened and that they still won is the ultimate thing. That is the ultimate. They snatched victory away from the jaws of defeat. So good for them. That is takeaway day after thought number 1. Number 2 for me, the defensive performance, because you can read here, was incredibly surprising and impressive. That is the way that I have put it. Now, you did not have to look far to find objective criticism of the Dallas Cowboys defense this time a week ago. In fact, this time a week, I remember this from the 2020 season, I believe it was. Maybe it was, I think it was 2020. Good friend of mine, good friend of Blogging the Boys, Dave Hellman from Fox Sports. He had this tweet. I think it was 2020. I think it was after that Seahawks game, either that or the Browns game. But either way, Hellman had a tweet that was like, this is the kind of game. This was the day after the game, and he was, kind of pontificating. He said, this was the kind of game where there's going to be all sorts of stats that come out about this that are really, really, really bad. And I tweeted a stat out, and Dave shared it, was like, yep, I told you. It was like, they're going to be really bad, because it was something, as I try to remember now, something about how I think the Cowboys offense had started a possession beyond their 30-yard line like 3 times in the first 4 or 5 games of the season. The whole point was that the field position the offense was getting to work with was really poor, because the defense was playing poorly, the special teams was playing poorly. You get the point. And so it was just really bad. It was a really big indictment on the team at that moment in time. That's kind of how statistics were about this defense a week ago through the first 4 games of the season. And we felt that way, and we had a long time to feel that way, because the Cowboys obviously beat the Giants on Thursday Night Football in week 4. And we had nothing but idle hands. And to be clear here, this wasn't a result of just idle hands. We weren't just freaking out, right? The Cowboys defense was very, very, very bad. The Cowboys defense almost lost to Daniel Jones. I know that the Giants didn't score a touchdown themselves, but we can all remember that it was kind of a weirdly successful but not successful game offensively for the Giants. It was very, very strange. And we're not here to talk about that game. My point is that this was maybe the worst tackling team in the NFL before Sunday night in Pittsburgh, and then a switch flipped and something happened. Now, I have told you many times, I remain skeptical of the Mike Zimmer hire. I remain skeptical of Mike Zimmer overall in the calendar year 2024 for reasons I have outlined in many different videos. If you were subscribed to the channel, you would have seen those by now, by this point in time. Shout out to Bear and Honey, by the way. They're being very good puppies here as I shoot this video in the office. That being said, something happened. I mean, something happened. Props. I mean, look, we can offer criticisms, we can offer disagreements, we can say things, but we should react to reality, and we should acknowledge reality. And the Cowboys defense was phenomenal, and phenomenal in the face of extreme chaos, right? With no Micah Parsons, no DeMarcus Lawrence, no Deron Bland, no Kalen Carson, if you want to throw him in there, with Marshawn Nealon exiting the game very soon. Tyrus Wheat, and I say that very respectfully as possible, became a person who the Cowboys were leaning on significantly. And not only a person who the Cowboys were leaning on significantly, but a person who was drawing the praise and the admiration of Chris Collinsworth on the broadcast. I was stunned watching the game, obviously, when Chris Collinsworth said there's constant pressure off the edge from Tyrus Wheat. What? What, Chris Collinsworth? What are you telling me? This is impossible. This cannot be, because we didn't even mention that Sam Williams tore his ACL in the first few days of training camp. This was a group that was so down bad, but Tyrus Wheat and Maris Liufau and DeMarvion Overshown and Linval Joseph and Trayvon Diggs, and we'll not put the safeties in that mix, but they stood tall, admittedly not against the best offense in the NFL, but they did what they had to do. They were disciplined and they did not bend. Sure, you're never going to pitch a shutout in all, realistic expectations. Obviously, they didn't allow the Giants to score a touchdown, like I just said, but this was an extremely impressive performance from the defense in general, let alone when you factor in the specific details of all the turmoil that they had been in the middle of and have been in the middle of for a very long time now. The test will be very different, obviously, this coming week against the Detroit Lions, but this was a very, very, very impressive outing, and I will absolutely tip the cap that I am not wearing to Mike Zimmer, because he got in the lab and at the very, very, very least got this group to play with extreme discipline that they were lacking for the first month of the season. All right, that is day after thought number 2. This is a video and a discussion where there are 3, so that means there's 1 left, and let's get it done. Ensuring a 500 record at the bye week is a very underrated thing. That is how I have written this. Now, in case you don't know, the Cowboys play the Detroit Lions on Sunday. They are 3-point home underdogs against the Lions. The Cowboys are on their bye after that. So, get ready for that. We'll, of course, have lots of content for you around here. So don't worry. We'll also have content as always at blogontheboys.com. My social channels, you get the deal and the drill. And I don't know what I almost said, but that was very complicated. You get the drill and the deal, whatever the case. Anyway, by winning on Sunday night in Pittsburgh, the Cowboys got to 3-2 on the year, which means even if they lose, and we don't want them to lose, we hope they win, right? That goes without saying. But even if they lose, and they will probably lose because they're 3-point home dogs to a team that is going to be very, very, very motivated to play against them because of what happened last year in the penultimate game of the regular season, the reported as eligible, ineligible stuff. I don't know if they still hold this Lions team any grudges for the 2014 wildcard round. That would be weird, but hey, Des caught it, right? Like, we all have our stuff. That being said, I think I'm going to pick the Lions to win this game. I have to see how the week unfolds, but I think you're probably going to pick the Lions to win this game. And I don't think any of us would be wrong to do that. And if the Cowboys lose this game, they will fall to 3-3, and they will have to face, after the bye, a road trip to play daddy, the San Francisco 49ers. And doing that with a 2-4 record is a much higher sense of tension and chaos and turmoil, to use some words that we already have here today, than entering it with a 3-3 record. The next few games for the Cowboys after the bye week: at San Francisco, that's daddy; at Atlanta, which is definitely winnable; Philadelphia, Dak owns them; Houston, definitely tough; at Washington, the Sunday before Thanksgiving, that is going to be a very tough game. Those are the 5 games before Thanksgiving. Maybe the Cowboys hopefully win 3 of them, kind of balance things out. I do think this is going to be a season where they kind of just, jump rope around 500, a little bit above, a little bit below. We'll see how things ultimately go as the season moves along. But that's why you got to steal these. That's why, to the first point, you have to take these, because you have to understand the state of your roster and that you are not as good as some of these other teams on paper. And maybe you steal that game too. Maybe you shock the world. That is obviously possible. But you have to live in reality, and you have to understand you might lose that game. So you have to take these when they count. And that the Cowboys have assured themselves of a 500 record at the bye week means that the sky will not be falling. And that is an important thing in a year where the head coach is in a contract year and most of the staff is in a contract year and all this stuff has been percolating around the team. They did a great job of calming things down. And for that, I do once again salute and take off my cap that I'm not wearing to them. As noted, you can read my article about this subject at blogontheboys.com. Day after thoughts. It is something that I find to be helpful, but I'm also curious what your day after thoughts are, how you feel about the Cowboys, if there's something you agree with or don't agree with, or whatever the case may be. If you want to let me know, you can hit me up on social media. Like I said, Twitter, Instagram, Threads at RJ Ochoa, TikTok, RJ.Ochoa, email RJ.Ochoa at SBNation.com, or you can leave a comment down below and I will do my very best to get to those as well. The Dallas Cowboys won, and we had victory polos going on, and that was awesome. And the dogs did not bark while we put together this video. So kind of a win-win-win-win-win-win-win. So go get another cup of coffee because I'm sure you need it. I'm talking very fast because I've had several of them. And yeah, looking forward to another fantastic week of Dallas Cowboys content. Thanks so much for hanging out, everybody. See you next time. Oh, I clicked the wrong thing.